What's going on, guys? What a day. You wanna know how crazy it was for me? Here's my whoops. Here's my phone percentage right there. Oh, yeah, there's DraftKings. 11% right there before I get another text and another email. Yeah, I'm just it's one of those days, man. I love NFL Sundays when the Chiefs are not playing, or if the Chiefs have a 3:25 kickoff game, which a lot of their games are going to be non-noon kickoff games this year, which I'm happy about because I prefer to see. This is what NFL Sunday is about. If I don't know how many people out there don't have a team. I imagine everyone has a team, but I would also imagine there's at least a small percentage of football fans who don't have a team. They don't have like a strong rooting interest out there, and they pay very close attention to all the teams across the league. Yeah, we have a noon kickoff game next week. After that, the next noon kickoff game is a Monday on Christmas against the Raiders. So the Chiefs only have a noon kickoff game once this year. Everything is 3:25 or prime time, or they have that Sunday morning game. Sunday morning in the United States, but it's going to be in Germany. So, yeah, I love those kinds of Sundays. Tyreek made you lose your fantasy team. Yeah, Tyreek. See, a lot of people are saying this, Steve. The Chiefs could have used Tyreek. Look, it's just one game. Like you look at teams today, like the Bengals. Okay, and I'll get to the Bengals because I think that is fucking hilarious. What happened to them? Obviously, one game is not going to decide the season. If we're really going off one game, then we might as well crown the Raiders AFC West champs, right? Because they're the only ones that lead the division right now. This whole thing with the Chiefs with their receivers and oh my God, they could have used Tyreek. Well, if this is the case, then I think we need to write off the Bengals. Like if we're really going to go off one game for all 32 teams, I know we still have 4 teams that have yet to play. Then I guess we got to crown champions right now. Okay, see, this is I love this. What will the Bengals excuse be? I've already seen a couple. The rain, he didn't have the preseason and all this bullshit. It's always an excuse. By the way, all off season long, what have Raiders fans bitched about all off season? The officiating in the AFC Championship game and the Chiefs supposedly getting an extra down. Even though they explained what happened, Bengals fans refused to comprehend all of that. Well, guess what? The exact same thing happened in this game. And I don't care about week 1 versus an AFC Championship game. The Bengals got an extra down whether they like it or not. I mean, the same exact thing happened to them. Did Bengals fans complain about that? No. It's funny. By the way, the Bengals, I guess we should get into that now because everyone's talking about them. All the shit you talked in the offseason, okay? And it's not just from the fans. Even the players have done it. Like, the players go on, oh, we're going to see you at Burrowhead Stadium. And obviously their mayor got into it too. And they obviously lose that game. That's karma right there. And then Ja'Marr Chase, I think it was Ja'Marr Chase who, first of all, started with the Pat Who in the offseason. Then he referred to the Browns as the Elves. Now, I'll give Ja'Marr Chase credit. He actually stood in front of the media and said, I called them Elves, and we just got our ass kicked by Elves. Dude, if I'm Zach Taylor, I'm looking at the players, and I'm saying, stop the shit talking. Just stop. It's not a good look when you lose like that. The Bengals, their last 2 games, the Burrowhead comments and the Elves comments, just not a good look. Just not a good look. See, I posted this and Hunter just commented a moment ago. The Bengals are 0-2 since the Burrowhead comments. Yeah, they are. I can't imagine why. Probably should have focused on practicing for the game than all the shit talking they do. And by the way, it's not just the fact that they lost. They got shellacked. I think that's unfair. The Browns, and give credit to the Browns. I said the Browns would win. I did not think they would win like this. I knew the Bengals offensive line was going to be an issue. Everyone seems to think the Browns upgraded their offensive line, not one bit. But again, I'm supposedly not the genius. Everyone else knows football better than I do. But Orlando Brown got manhandled today, especially when Myles Garrett was lined up on Orlando Brown's side. And by the way, what did the Bengals do in this game to try to combat that? They put tight ends and running backs right next to or behind Orlando Brown to help him. That's exactly what the Chiefs did with Jerick McKinnon when he was in Kansas City last year during the postseason run. And all that talk about, I'm a great player because I've been to 4 straight Pro Bowls and my peers see that. No, your peers see through that bullshit. The Bengals obviously missed it. And they gave him that money, and they handed Joe Burrow that massive fat contract 72 hours ago, only to look like this. Now, listen, obviously, the Bengals are going to get going, but if this is how you're going to look in your first game, 72 hours after handing that big contract to Joe Burrow, yeah, you're going to get torched. You are going to get mocked, especially all the three against Joe Burrow. Well, what's Joe Burrow's record against the Browns, a team that can't even make the playoffs? Yeah, they made it a couple of years ago, but this is just not a good look for the Bengals. Yeah, see, Teresa says they need to stop the smack talk. Yeah, 100%. Oh God, this one, Kyle, Broncos country, let's ride. I'll say this. I thought Russell Wilson actually looked good in the first half. I was impressed. If their kicker does not miss that, I think it was the first PAT or this, I think it was the first, because the game started off 7-6. That's a tight game right there, at the very least. Now maybe the Raiders, their whole game plan, that trajectory changes a bit if the game was tied, but no, it wasn't. And listen, the Raiders did not look good either. I mean, these are two teams that were horrible last year. Neither one of them could score in the 20s. So this whole situation, listen, I would rather the Raiders have won this game because I think the Broncos are going to figure it out. I did not think they would lose today. I thought they would win with ease. And again, the Raiders, I mean, it's not like they did anything magnificent. You win the game. I mean, you get credit for the win. A win is a win. Now, let's not forget the Raiders. They started off the season 3-0 a couple of years ago and had a much better team back then. So did the Broncos the same year. By the way, Josh McDaniels once started off with a 6-0 record when he was coaching in the AFC West. Now, that was more than 10 years ago, more than a decade ago. But still, the Raiders right now with their head coach and their team in general just don't have a good track record of holding on to leads like that early on in a season. So this is really this is the Raiders Super Bowl right now, literally, because they are hosting the Super Bowl this year, which is as close as they're going to get to the Super Bowl this season. But this whole getting off to being the only team with a win in the AFC West, that is their Super Bowl right now. Because everyone knows they're not gonna stick around much longer. They're just not. Let's see. Hunter says getting Mike Evans would be sweet. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about this. Here's what I will say. If the Chiefs defense, and again, it's one game, so I'm not going to sit here and say Chris Jones. I've already been on the Chris Jones, the trade Chris Jones train for a while, because I don't think they're going to figure this out. I just don't. If they were going to figure it out, they would have done it by now, I think. The fact that he was at the game with his agents, it's just a bad look, but we've gone over that. I'll say what I said last week, though. Again, it's one game, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions, but if the Chiefs defense continues to play this way, they only allowed 2 touchdowns. That pick 6 was on the offense, not the defense. They have some things to improve on, but as far as points go, they did not let the Lions light up the scoreboard. If the Chiefs offensively also struggle with receivers, yeah, I think there's a possibility you see a trade between the Chiefs and Bucks. I think both parties that would be involved in the trade, the players that is, I think they would be happy. Mike Evans can come to a better offense, and Chris Jones, well, you're not going to be playing for a contender, but you will get the money that you want probably in Tampa Bay versus Kansas City. I'm not saying trade Chris Jones based off one game. I'm saying trade Chris Jones because I've been saying that even before Thursday night's struggles that we saw. So, to me, it's just I don't see it getting rectified. That's why I was already in favor of trading Jones before Thursday night's game. Now, even more so, especially if it continues the defensive success. Now, how much time do we give it? Listen, I say 2, maybe 3 more past week 2 or week 3. If the Chiefs defense continues to play well, then I think you gotta trade them. If you can get draft picks, okay. Obviously, given that we're in season now, a player would be far more preferred. But if you can't do that, then go get the draft picks and try to reload for some of next season while trying to still contend this year. Monica says, can't wait to see what Skip Bayless has to say after Joe Burrow's performance. Yeah, so for those who don't get the reference here from Monica, on whatever TV show he hosts, I'm sorry, I don't watch a lot of these shows. I did watch Friday because I want to see the response about Chris Jones. But whatever show Skip Bayless does on FS1 with, it used to be Shannon Sharp, but now it's with Richard Sherman and Keyshawn Johnson. Skip was like all in, oh yeah, Joe Burrow, way better than Patrick Mahomes, because they were comparing Mahomes and Burrow. Man, the Chiefs went out there on Thursday and said, let's underachieve. And the Cincinnati Bengals said, hold my goddamn skyline chili, whatever the hell they call that thing. Your man cave, I'm more impressed with that. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, put some work in that over the years. I'll argue that listen, did the Chiefs need Jones and Kelce? Yes, but the issues they had are far more fixable than what the Bengals dealt with today. Like if the coaching staff can find a way to address those drops, then the Chiefs are going to be in a better spot moving forward. You could argue the Bengals, they needed Travis Kelce and Chris Jones far more than the Chiefs did. And by the way, that's a Bengals team that has a great trifecta at wide receiver with Higgins, Chase, and Boyd. How did they do as a trio? I mean, those receivers themselves, they didn't do bad. Joe Burrow just couldn't get the ball to them. I mean, Joe Burrow's passes today were complete ass. There's no ifs, and, or buts about it. From First Things First is predicting we don't make the playoffs, and he's predicting Eagles versus Ravens. Oh boy, the Ravens. The Ravens are a fantastic regular season team, but man, I just don't know. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not sold on Lamar. The guy's 1-3 or 1-4 in the playoffs. I don't know. I have a question about the Chiefs game, and it seemed like to you that every time a wide receiver did great in the Chiefs game, you didn't them after that. Like, for example, because this is actually a good point by Kyle, MVS, Rashee Rice, even Justin Ross. I felt like he needed more playing time for what was going on. Okay, let me just address Justin Ross. This is a guy who hasn't played an actual football game in almost 2 years. This is like someone going into a swimming pool for the first time in 2 years, and you start at the deep end. You just don't do it that way. I think that, and to me, I was not surprised with Justin Ross's limitation in this game. I kind of expected it. Though I also did say there might be a chance he plays more given Kelce's absence. Now, listen, I said one thing I did say is we could expect the unexpected. There are a lot of things that could happen that would still surprise us, a lot of scenarios, but none of those really happened. No one really had a standout game. But to answer your question about MVS and Rashee Rice, this is actually a great point, Kyle. MVS did come through with a couple of big catches. Those were the only 2 big catches we saw from him. Let me pull up the stat sheet from that game, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think MVS was targeted again after that. MVS, 2 catches, 2 targets. Yeah, weird. You mentioned Rashee Rice. He obviously caught the first touchdown for the Chiefs. Where is Rashee Rice? Okay, 3 catches, 5 targets. He didn't have an amazing game, but given where he is on the depth chart, not bad. I mean, Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, KT was targeted 5 times, 1 catch for a yard. Sky Moore was targeted 3 times and didn't have a catch. Justin Watson had 2 catches for 45 yards. He also drew a big penalty when the Chiefs were targeting him, a big pass interference penalty there. Noah Gray actually did not do that bad, given that he was the primary tight end that night, 3 for 31. So, you know what the problem was? See, the Lions had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different players with a catch. The Chiefs had 8, 9, 10, 11. That's not bad. Like, it's nice that you can distribute the ball if you're Patrick Mahomes. But I guess in this case where you have all these issues here, no clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. Travis Kelce's not playing. This rotation carousel is not ideal. The Chiefs have some things to figure out, and would a trade for Mike Evans maybe fix that? Yeah, probably. Kyler says Joe getting benched is sad. If that was Mahomes, he would get destroyed. Skip hasn't said one word. He usually got Twitter fingers for Mahomes. Well, there you go. That's Skip Bayless for you. There's the same Skip Bayless who quickly went to Twitter and said that they should continue that Bengals-Bills game last year. What's up, Joey? I see you. Myron says Orlando Brown. Oh, Jesus. I haven't even mentioned his name yet. Orlando Brown looked horrible today, and the criticism was well received. But as a Chiefs fan, Jawan Taylor looked horrible against Aiden Hutchinson. Yes, he did. He should have been called on at least 5 false starts, moving his leg while in his stance. So far, Taylor has not been impressive. No, he has not been impressive. Orlando Brown, he got away with a lot of false starts last year. And the 2 years with the Chiefs, I don't know if that was the case with him and the Ravens. I noticed him getting away with a couple of false start penalties in this game too. So sometimes you see this with offensive linemen. Apparently Lane Johnson does it too, and nobody says anything about it. And I guess what Jawan Taylor did Thursday night is something he did. Is something he did last year in Jacksonville. I don't know. I'll need to look into that a little bit more. I don't have NFL Plus or anything like that, so I'm not 100% sure. Todd, the depth chart doesn't mean a whole lot, honestly, because look, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was number 3 on the depth chart. The unofficial depth chart is what they call it. Man, he played a lot of snaps in that game. And let me say one other thing. I said this over the week after the game, but if you start a game, it doesn't mean too much. Like the Chiefs' first play of the game could be a 3 tight end set. Well, guess what? Blake Bell and Noah Gray would receive a start because that's the first offensive play of the game. So when you see things like that on the stat sheet, it can be misleading. Total snaps means far more than whether or not you started a game at wide receiver or running back or tight end. The start game with an eligible offensive line coming in as an eligible receiver. Maybe they just want to have extra blocking power. Well, then that eligible receiver that came in is going to receive a start for that. So you could essentially have 6 offensive linemen starting if you wanted to. Those things can be a little weird. Yes, Burrow did indeed get benched. I love Bengals fans that are trying to sugarcoat this. Oh no, he wasn't benched. They just rested him because the game was out. Yeah, really? Tell that to Deshaun Watson. He finished that game. Oh man. MVS, Rice, and Russ have the size and build to help Mahomes. Sky is too small. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that criticism before. Listen, Tyreek Hill is small too. He made it work. I'm not saying Sky Moore is Tyreek Hill, but I think Sky Moore can do some things to help the Chiefs. Look, people have got to understand something, because I see all the criticism about Brett Veach already and the wide receiver success from the draft. Look, Sky Moore did not play on offense much last year. He was behind MVS and Juju Smith-Schuster. Oh, and by the way, Travis Kelce is your number 1 pass catcher. So Sky Moore is already very low when it comes to how high he is on Mahomes' list of players he's going to throw to. He's not high on that list, at least last year. Now, this year we just got started. And again, I'm not going to, no one should ever determine how a season's going to go off one game. I mean, if that's what we're going to do, then I guess the Chiefs are in for a long season and the Bengals are in for a much longer season. So I think everyone knows. Listen, the Raiders started the season I just mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. The Raiders started 2021 with a 3-0 record. So did the Broncos. The Chiefs were 1-2, last place in the AFC West. I think we all know who won the division that year. So, listen, I still think the jury's out on Sky Moore. I really do. I'd like to see more Justin Ross. I don't know how this transition is going to go, how long it's going to go with the progress they want to install with him, that whole thing. I don't know. What do you think killed us the most on Thursday? I mean, Joey, I think it's pretty obvious. I think the catch is right there. Like, yeah, sure. Jawan Taylor was not great. You had the pick six and you already had the drops. But if Kadarius Toney catches that pass late in the game, or if Sky Moore catches that 4th and 25 pass that's going at him, man, you have a chance, even with all the problems you had in the game. And listen, unless you're winning a game like 49-0, even the teams, like, look at the Eagles today. They won 25-20. The Eagles had some serious issues in this game. They started 16-0, and after that, they did not play very good football after that. They got outscored by the Patriots the rest of the game. Obviously, we're not outscored by the final score, but man, if you have like a fifth period, a 15-minute period, obviously that's not how football works, but if we did, man, the Patriots probably have the momentum to beat the Eagles, because the Eagles could not get anything going after that 16-0 start. So even teams that win games have issues. And the Chiefs, if they won this game, they were still going to look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey, we have all these drops that we seriously got to address moving forward. So, and here's what I'll say, because I know Bengals fans are coming in saying, well, Mahomes is 0-1 also. Yeah, he was 0-1 without his two best teammates, Kelce and Jones, and they lost by 1 point with drop issues that are pretty fixable. The Bengals, I mean, I guess their issues are fixable also, but it's not like they had one glaring hole. They had, they have a list of issues. The Chiefs can't really say that right now, which is a good thing if you're the Chiefs. I just want to know what y'all think, honestly. Oh, I think I just answered that, Joey. Can the Chiefs please stop the Blake Bell quarterback sneak? I agree with you, Myron. Can the Chiefs get in a big package as Bell, the fullback, and pound that way? Please let that Bell QB sneak go away. This is actually a great idea, Myron. I mean, you don't have a fullback position, but you can put you can insert tight ends in that spot 100%. Look, I've been saying this for a while. Why are we not putting Patrick Mahomes under center for quarterback sneaks? Why? Did you guys not see the game Thursday night? Mahomes was scrambling and a defender came in from behind and hit him pretty hard. Like, Mahomes has a higher chance of suffering a season-ending injury from that than he does a quarterback sneak. Oh, but Farzine, did you see what happened in 2019? Yeah, I did. It was a freak accident, and he was already dealing with a knee injury that week. You have the best interior offensive line in football. Why are they so afraid of a quarterback sneak? I just don't get it. It kind of bothers me, man. Like, you're paying this guy this much money and you refuse to run a quarterback sneak with him. I mean, the bottom tier quarterbacks can operate a simple quarterback sneak, and the odds of you winning the battle for a quarterback sneak are pretty high. So if you're the Chiefs, man, quit being scared. Patrick Mahomes just played a postseason with a bad ankle. I mean, this guy's not a wimp. He's bigger and stronger than just about every quarterback out there. And let's slow down a little bit. He's not a wimp. I'm seeing a lot of Houday comments followed by laughing emojis, which is always fun. We don't run the ball or QB sneak. Okay, see, this is what I was saying, Gary. What was the play call? Well, first of all, the formation looked. I mean, you just telegraphed it with the formation. You knew Blake Bell was going to move in motion. Now, I did not expect the jet sweep. Look, if that works, everyone's going to call Andy Reid a genius, but it didn't work. Ultimately, that's kind of how trick plays work. If trick plays work, the coach is a genius and the players are awesome for executing it. If they fail, well, who gets the number one criticism there? The coaches, because they're trying to be too cute with the play call. My whole point is going back to your comment, Gary, about not running the ball on short yardage situations. What's your lack of confidence like with your running backs if you're running a fucking jet sweep on 3rd and 1 with your tight end handing it off to your receiver? What's your confidence level in Isaiah Pacheco? And listen, I know he's not the most popular guy on the team, but I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire was playing with a little bit of toughness in that second half. Like, I would not have been opposed to giving him the ball in that situation. I mean, listen, I like the running backs. Doesn't every Chiefs fan like Isaiah Pacheco? I think a lot of Chiefs fans like Jerick McKinnon too. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is a good question. Is Kelce coming back for week 2? We're not sure. I saw, Howard Blazer Twitter. I actually just saw a tweet. I want to make sure it's not fake news regarding Travis Kelce, because unfortunately, there are a lot of Facebook groups out there that post a lot of misleading stories about the Chiefs. It's listen, this is the same. Yeah. I saw a screenshot of a tweet regarding Travis Kelce's knee, and I know what account it came from, but I'm looking up that account right now, and that tweet is not there. Man, how desperate do you have to be to spread fake news like that? Like, if you're a meme parody page, that's different. But if you're just someone that's like trying to intentionally spread fake news, like, what do you benefit from that? I don't get it. Yeah, they did. They embarrassed us 100%. I think it will still hurt until our next game. Just being at the game and watching those 2 drops by Tony and Moore were heartbreaking. Yeah, Trace, I agree. That was frustrating. When Tony dropped that pass, there were a lot of people chanting, or not chanting, but shouting "F you, Tony." That was tough. I went home and rewatched that. Dude, that was difficult to watch, or rewatch, I should say. It's like, man, like every time they showed a drop, whether I was rewatching the game or it was on the highlights on ESPN and FS1 the next day, I kept doing one of those. Oh, like, it was tough to watch. Listen, I think that's why Kansas City's loss was far more frustrating, because they had a winnable game compared to, let's say, the Bengals. Like, the Bengals did not even look like they were ready. They looked like they were in off-season mode. Like, you know that joke, oh, so-and-so's in mid-season form. The Bengals are in off-season form still. Like, they have not started the season yet. Did they have the fewest points today? Obviously, you know, the 2 teams on Thursday scored more than 3. Let's see. The Panthers and Falcons, that killed my parlay. So, damn you, Falcons. Bengals 3 points. Everybody scored a touchdown. Like the Texans did not score a touchdown, I guess. Or did they miss a field goal in the second quarter? I don't know. Anyway, they got 9 points. It's more than 3. Yeah, everyone scored more points in the Bengals today. Everyone scored more points in the Bengals today. Now the Giants, maybe they can compete with the maybe they'll compete. By the way, who do you guys have? Cowboys or Giants? I don't know. Oh, I just lost the comment, Samuel. I don't know if I agree with this. I would like that, but I don't think. First of all, you're going to break Larry Johnson's record for touches and carries in a season. Now, I know you're saying touches and not carries, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Me too, John. I'm glad they're back. Today was a fun day. Today was a damn fun Sunday. The gimmick plays are horrible. Stop wasting downs on plays like that. Everyone's expecting it. You're right, Anthony. Now, if you're Andy Reid is a creative guy. So what are some things that we haven't seen Andy Reid do? The Wildcat. We really haven't seen that. The misdirection handoffs. Those. I saw a team run it today. I cannot remember for the life of me which team that was, but I saw a team attempt it today and it didn't go very far. But I thought I just said this on Friday. What else? Flea flicker. Don't you think the Chiefs could come up with some kind of, maybe they can reinvent some sort of version of the flea flicker or the wildcat or the end around? I mentioned the misdirection handoffs. Because the shovel passes and the jet sweeps, they kind of get, you know what I would like to see? I'd like to see a fake jet sweep, because a lot of people see those jet sweeps coming. What if you throw them off with a fake jet sweep? I think it would work. And then again, that's why I'm not the coach. Who are you liking for our number one receiver by the end of the season? That's a good question. It's a really good question. Listen, I still think KT's the guy. Here's my problem. Like all the issues that Kadarius Toney had today. What if the Chiefs started off the season 3-0 and then all these drops happen in week 4? Like it doesn't look as bad. When it happens in week 1, people wonder, oh no, is this the way the season's going to go? Like, look at the Bengals right now. Okay. They look like shit today. If the Bengals start off the season 3-0 and the game they had today happens in week 4, a lot of people will say, okay, just an off day for the Bengals. They'll be back. It's just, I guess that really bad game happened early for the Chiefs with Kadarius Toney. Mark says, I would love to see Jonathan Taylor on the Chiefs. He is a dynamic player. I think the Chiefs would benefit from having Jonathan Taylor, but I don't see that happening. In fact, I would even say, like, let's say the offensive struggles continue and you're in desperate need to go get people. Hot take. I think the Chiefs would actually consider bringing back Kareem Hunt. I really do. Now, this is only if the issues continue. Because I think Kareem Hunt, man, if you have serious problems with the offense, if they continue, I think that is when you would need to reach out to Dan Saffron. That's Tyreek Hill's agent. So I appreciate it, John. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Joey. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's see. You guys are saying Giants, boys, Cowboys. Yeah, I'm saying Cowboys. And I'm not big on the Cowboys, but I'm also not sold on the Giants either. I'll give Daniel Jones credit. I think he had an awesome playoff game. But I just don't think moving forward, can he do that in a long period, like a long 17-game season is what I'm saying. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle, I would not be shocked if this happens. You really want to see a steal? Like, Bengals fans think Orlando Brown was a nice steal. Nope. And I've already seen a few Bengals fans criticize Orlando Brown, the signing. So, yeah, I mean, that's still a ways away. Yeah, Tua looked awesome today. Hopefully he stays healthy, man, because that is that's a guy that can really do some damage if he stays healthy. There was a period of time where the Dolphins did not lose a game with Tua for like a very long time. I think their record was like 6-0 or something with Tua until at some point they started eventually losing. So I'd be curious to see how that goes. Cincinnati Bungle says that name always makes me laugh. Reid needs to stop being conservative with the play calling. See, this is like, even though Andy Reid has been to 3 Super Bowls in recent memory and has won 2 finally, and he even said in a press conference recently that it took him 20 years to win 1. Um, the knock on Andy Reid, though, even today, like even on Thursday night, the criticism was out there. The conservative play calling from Andy Reid. Andy Reid is a great play caller, but with the game on the line, man, it's like, you guys know Butters from South Park when he panics and doesn't know what to do sometimes? I feel like that's Andy Reid. Like, he doesn't really know what to do, so he goes into his bag of tricks and hopes that it will work, and the complete opposite happens. And again, trick plays, it's so hard to judge those because, yeah, the trick plays, you know, they're gutsy calls, obviously. And if they work, the coach is a genius and the players are great for executing it. If they fail, well, then the coach is the number one person that everyone's going to go after in those situations. So, Andy Reid, where did Andy Reid coach before KC? The Eagles for 14 years, and then the Packers as an offensive coordinators. Yeah, God bless the Raiders, right? Number one in the AFC West, man. They are Super Bowl, but they are going to be the next team to play the Super Bowl in their own home stadium. Yeah, the Raiders are very well on their way. Do you see the Chiefs trading for a big name wide receiver? Okay, this has been asked a couple of times, Samuel, but yeah. So to repeat what I said earlier, if the Chiefs receiving mishaps continue, and if the Chiefs defense can continue to play well and not allow big scores, then yeah, I can see a Chris Jones and a Mike Evans trade. That's the only one I can really foresee happening. All right, peace out, Joey. Byron says, I think Moore and Tony will get better as the season goes. Yeah, I agree. I think so. Man, it's raining. Dude, what's with rain in so many games today? So many games today. All right, people are saying Nagy's at fault, and oh boy, yeah. See, I saw this Thursday night also. Here's the thing: I did not have very good Wi-Fi Thursday. At halftime, I actually found a good spot for Wi-Fi, so I quickly went there and got a couple of posts in. But after the game, it was again, I was oblivious to all the reaction, so I didn't know anything until after the game. And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to Matt Nagy and Eric Bieniemy. By the way, I did not pay attention to the Washington game. I know they got off to a good start and the Cardinals caught up. So the Commanders did win that game. Good. I'm happy for Eric Bieniemy. I know it's just the Cardinals, but man, I think that's a start right there. Look, I'm not here to throw the team under the bus after one loss. Like, because I'm seeing people say that, you know, they already regret promoting Matt Nagy and not keeping EB, and that Tony needs to be cut. Man, it's one game. Like, people need to chill, relax. See, Kevin just said it right here in the comments. Drops cost us the game. Yes, exactly. Like, it's not like, you know, Mahomes was just lost. Now, I will say, I think Mahomes and the players were not in sync in this game. I do think that's issue number 2 behind the drops, as well as some pass blocking. But the issues the Chiefs had are fixable. They lost because of drop issues, right? I think we can all agree on that. And they lost by 1 point without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. Now, Chris Jones is not going to be there for a while. Travis Kelce maybe Chris Jones has already played his last game as a Chief. We don't know. Travis Kelce, on the other hand, he's expected to come back soon. If it's not going to be week 2 against the Jaguars, it should be week 3 when they play against the Bears at home. So the Chiefs are going to be fine with that, I think, in general. I just hope, you know, when you look at Connor Embry, he's the wide receivers coach. And by the way, he comes from a football family. His dad was the tight ends coach under Herm Edwards here in KC. And I think he went to go be the head coach in Colorado. Not the Broncos, Colorado, as in the Buffaloes. Then he was the head offensive assistant for the 49ers when the Chiefs and 49ers played in the Super Bowl. So, you know, he's got that football background there. And you look at offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, I think a lot of people have trust in him. And then Andy Reid. You got some of my coaches in there that I just mentioned. I think they're going to figure it out. Let me just quickly look up something about Matt Nagy. What was his position when Doug Peterson was the OC? He was a quarterbacks coach. Yeah, he's done a lot of quarterback coaching. Okay. I just wasn't sure if he ever worked with wide receivers in the past. So, but you are the offensive coordinator. So obviously you're going to approach these wide receivers at some point. So, yeah, I hope he figures that out with Embry and with Andy Reid, because I would say those three guys, Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, and Connor Embry, I think are three very important people moving forward. You gotta figure this out, because if you don't, then yeah, it will be a long season. Yeah, definitely. If you don't address those issues, Lewis, yeah, I agree. Kind of what I was just saying. A couple more comments, guys. One thing that seemed to be a problem with a lot of today's games were interceptions. I didn't follow every game that closely. I mean, there were a couple games that I was really paying attention to, but let me get rid of this comment here. Dave, thank you. Let's look at the weekly leaders here for the passing and see if you're onto something here. Boy, Tua had quite the day today. Okay, so looking at the top 5 quarterbacks today, Tua with 1 pick, Kirk Cousins with a pick, Matthew Stafford, no touchdowns, no picks. Mac Jones had 3 touchdowns. Good for him. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Derek Carr, imagine that. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Who had a really bad game today? Ryan Tannehill had 3 picks. Kenny Pickett had 2 picks. Bryce Young, obviously a rookie, had 2 picks. And everyone else had 1 or 0. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that comment. I don't know if picks were really that big of a deal today. Tony needs to have a big game against the Jags. Sky needs to have some catches also. Ross needs more targets. Guys, I know everyone wants to see Justin Ross. I do too. I don't know how it came through on TV, but when the PA announcer announced Justin Ross's name when he had his catch in the second half, there was not a big ovation, but there were a lot of people clapping for that. It was just a short catch too. It wasn't like for a big gain or anything. But a lot of people liked what the fact that he caught a pass there. Tony had a bad game. He played a big part in the Super Bowl. Yeah, 100%. Like, this is the thing. Like, everyone, again, I know it's one game and last year was last year, but you can't just forget someone's overall body of work. Look at Tony. I mean, he picked up the offense real fast last year when the Chiefs traded for him. Josh Gordon had an entire he had a season, then an entire off season, and he still could not figure it out. Like, Kadarius Toney has gotten the rhythm down better. He just needs to pull in the ball. Like, hold on to it, pull it to your. One of the things I would see Tony Gonzalez do, and I don't have a football on me, so this mic cover right here is going to be my football. One thing I always saw Tony Gonzalez do in pregame warmups, and you would have to arrive very early to the stadium to see this, but Tony Gonzalez would get the pass and he would immediately tuck it in like this. And he would do it on both sides, left side and right side. And I think the logic in that right there is to make sure that, okay, if you have a defender to your left coming at you real quickly, if you see him, well, then tuck it in right here and protect it as you're about to get hit. So I've never seen another player during pregame warmups do receptions like that. Now, obviously, it's so easy to do because you're not dealing with a defense. In fact, he would not even have pads on or a helmet. Just a simple catch the ball and tuck it in either right here or right here, to the left and to the right. And he would do it both sides of his body to just try to get loose and get the hang of it. And again, I think the logic there is just kind of depends on where the defender closest to you is, like what side he's on. So maybe some of that for Kadarius Toney this week. That'd be nice. All right. That's all for the comments. I'm all caught up. Thank you, guys. This is kind of a makeup live stream for Friday, because for our Red Friday live chat, we combined the Chiefs recap game and the Red Friday live chat together. So we didn't actually get to read a lot of your guys' comments, and we had a ton that evening. So I apologize for those of you whose comments I did not get to that day. This was kind of a makeup for that. We will obviously do everything as normal this week. This Wednesday, we will do our Chiefs Zone Wednesday podcast. We'll preview the game between the Chiefs and the Jaguars. So join us for that. We'll do our Red Friday live chat as we do each and every single Friday. So join me for that as well. And we will also do our pregame live stream, halftime live stream, and our postgame live stream on Sunday. And I promise I'm not going to be at the game this time. I kind of misled you guys with that one, but that's okay. Hey, you know what, though? Football season is back. Yes. You know what? Let's do it again. Yes. We are all excited for football season. That was a very long air horn. Okay. All right. I'm out of here, guys. Thank you again. Enjoy Sunday Night Football. Talk to you guys later. Peace. I'm just going to keep hitting this until the live stream ends.